Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Radical Love with Ains and Lex.
I'm Ains.
And I'm Lex. And today we're going to do kind of a different episode. We are going to be diving into the Ten Commandments and Exodus 20. I remember we did an episode on a gospel reading a few months ago, and I feel like this would be a similar vibe to that. But we always do Rosebud Thorn. So, Ains, you want to start?
Yes. So, Rose, we were just talking about this before we started recording, so I'll have to include it. I started watching Bridgerton because I, watch shows while I am like running or walking or whatever I'm doing. And I have just been going through shows. So I started watching Bridgerton. And I'm on like episode 4. This is the definition of a slow burn romance, but I am like obsessed with it because especially it is slow burn, like, which for those of you who aren't hip with the romance lingo, it just means like it takes a really long time to get going. But because it's taking so long, like slowly burning, I'm like wanting to watch more because I haven't gotten any satisfaction. Like no one started being in a relationship or like kissed or anything. So I'm like, come on, people. So entertaining though, and I loves it. And other than that, other Rose, yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. It was so fun. I like the group I was hanging out with were all people that like are close friends of mine, but I didn't know if they all knew each other. And it was honestly so fun. Like it was kind of a random group, but like so fun. And it was just a few of us. It was super chill, but a good time. Gotta go hard for the Day of the Irish.
Exactly.
At the School of the Irish. There's so many people wearing green. It was funny. And the weather's been really great this week. So I got to like I wore a skirt yesterday to class, and that was so fun, like that I wasn't cold. And then Thorn. I'm just kind of getting annoyed with being busy all the time. It's just kind of like
is your schedule catching up to you?
It's not catching up to me so much. It's just like annoying because I would love to just like sleep in, but then I don't have any time to exercise. And I would love to just watch Bridgerton, but then I have no time to watch Bridgerton. It's just frustrating. But yesterday I was actually really good and I watched a little bit of Bridgerton and I did a ton of homework for Tuesday and I went out. So it was perfect. Good day.
That's so good.
Oh, another Thorn. I'm so tired of running. Make it stop. I'm over it.
You only have a few more weeks, right? Just a few.
It's too long. I don't really have time this weekend to do the long run. And because I have another one of the retreats for my class. So I just don't know when I'm going to spare like 2 hours to go on a long run. Or if I want to, like, do I even want to do it? No, I don't. But I feel like I should. So it's just kind of annoying, but it's fine. Maybe I'll just watch Bridgerton during it and I'll be fine.
Exactly.
It'd be more interesting if I went outside. So, pros and cons.
You can like hold your phone in your hand. I'm just kidding. Yeah. That would be very tricky.
They need to make like a device. You can hold it out here. And then I would run into everything and fall over, but I would be able to watch Bridgerton and be outside and it would be perfect.
Exactly. And
then my bud is next weekend. I'm going to New York and I am so excited.
Yay.
It was supposed to be a surprise visit. But then I like totally spoiled it like a month ago. So not even close to a surprise because David knew like a long time ahead of it. But it was kind of fun. So normally I'll be like, oh, what weekend can I come? But instead I was just like, well, I'm coming this weekend. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, so lame that I told him, but I did. And we're seeing Phantom of the Opera, which I'm really excited for. And David got off the wait list for the Holy Half. So now he is doing it too. So we'll go on a 10-mile run next weekend. And I'm pretty excited to like run around. I think it'll be fun. I'm going to have to map it out so we can go through like Central Park and stuff and then end at a breakfast place or something.
Wait, that sounds amazing.
That would be fun. Yeah. So
that'd be so good.
But he runs way faster than me, so we will not be doing the actual race together. Me and Trish will be hanging out, and then David can go as fast as his little heart pleases.
There we go. There we go. It's also though like hard to surprise someone long distance. Like I know it's like that's the cute thing to do, but
No,
logistically
it's
it
such a
doesn't make
pain.
sense because what if they like
No.
have a project, like especially because David's in school, like what if he has something,
No.
like
Oh my God, he
yeah.
wouldn't. He would definitely make time. That's not even. He has Monday off of class. If he were to
Oh.
say no, I can't come because he had homework, I'd be like, ha ha ha, no, you don't. I'm coming. Like that's the stupidest complaint ever. But like, or just housing, like
Right, that's what I'm
where would I
saying.
stay? Like, because I got an Airbnb and I'm like, well, I don't want to come. There's just a lot of logistics and it costs so
Yeah,
much money. It's
right.
like something going south. Like, what if he decides he wants to go to like Connecticut for the weekend? I'd be like, actually, please don't.
Please don't. I can't tell you why, but just don't.
Yeah, it's nice knowing his friends, but they were very unhelpful in the planning process. So it was a
Oh,
one-woman show. I know. I hope they're listening. They're
such
definitely
a
not, but I hope they are because they're canceled. They were not helpful many moons ago. So I just did it all by myself and then spoiled it. But I'm excited.
Okay, good. My rose from the week. I would say over this week, I actually started my Caldi's internship early. So I have been working for them and it's been a lot of work, but truthfully, like I look forward to doing it and it's been so
Yay.
rewarding and I've just loved it. There are so many cool things that are going on. I just still like can't process the fact that like this is what I'm doing, like I have this opportunity. And then on another note, this doesn't even have to do with me, but I don't know when I'm supposed to say it, but something really cool happened for my mom at work and I am so proud of her. Like she
Donita.
yeah, she is like literally killing the game. Like I just like she was a stay-at-home mom for 19 years and now she's literally just like she is
Beast
working her
mode.
butt off. Yeah, for real. And then yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, which is always fun. It would have been my great aunt Patricia's 97th birthday, and she was born in Ireland. Like it's just
My
like
goodness.
it's so fun. Yeah. And then my thorn, I feel like I haven't had like a really big thorn in a really long time. And this one was awful. I mean, now that I look back at it, it's hilarious. So Monday night, I just like went to bed, whatever. I get to sleep in a little bit on Tuesdays. And I woke up Tuesday morning and I was like, wow, it's awfully light outside. Like I know I get to sleep in until 8, but especially with daylight savings, it should not be light. Well, it was 9:45. My phone.
Wow, how long
Yeah.
had you slept?
Only like 7 hours. It's fine.
Why'd you go to bed at 2-ish?
Because sometimes I just like can't fall asleep and then yeah, it's just so many things. So then my phone had broken overnight. Like it was stuck on the Apple logo, like, and I did like force restarts, nothing would work. So then I realized my phone was toast. And so then I'm DMing my mom on Instagram on my laptop. Like, my phone is broken. What do I do? And she was like, well, your dad and I are busy today. Sorry. And I was like, whoa. So then I decided to go to the AT&T store and they told me, I'm really sorry, but I think your phone's going to need to be just, completely wiped clean. You're going to have to go to Apple. We can't do it.
Going to the Apple store is low key. So they're so nice.
They are nice, but
or was it not a good experience? I guess it does definitely depend.
Well,
how was yours?
It just the whole day was just like really throwing me off. So I'm like at the AT&T store, which is a block from my apartment, and then he tells me that I need to go to Apple, which is in Buckhead. And again, the only person who knows this besides my mom is my roommate Molly, because I also DM'd her to text my mom. And so then I'm like, well, now I need to take the Atlanta subway, which is the MARTA, up to Buckhead by myself. And it's been increasingly unsafe recently. And I didn't have a phone. And like, I know what I'm doing, but I was just like, this is just not good.
It's not what you want.
No. And like, even like Molly didn't know that I was going there because, I had no way to tell her that I was. So I'm just like journeying, up to Buckhead by myself without a phone. And then I knew that the station was supposed to take me like to the mall where the Apple store was, but I thought it was going to take me right underneath. I mean, it was close, but like when I got to street level and then was like, well, crap, now I'm in Buckhead and I don't know where I am and I don't have maps. I don't have anything. Like,
Oh my gosh.
This is great. So then I walk in and I finally found the Apple store and they were like, well, oh, and I had to miss class because of this.
Yeah, I was like, that's definitely part of the equation too. If you were gonna wake up at 8 and then you woke up close to 10, you'd probably did you miss a class in that time?
Yeah, my
span?
class started at 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I walk in and they were like, well, has your phone given you notification that you didn't have any storage? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, yeah, there's no hope. They were like, I hope your stuff is on the cloud because we have to wipe your phone clean. And I was like, well, I also don't have iCloud storage, so it probably hasn't been backed up in about 2 years, but there's nothing I can do about it now. So they did that and it was completely wiped, but it was just a funny experience now that I look back at it. But like, wow, I was so stressed. Like I was like anxious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, going there was probably terrifying. That sounds like very scary.
Yeah. But
just also
Molly
like not
picked me
even
up.
if you get like murdered, but just like the fact that you could get lost is really scary.
Right.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out. She's on it, guys. She's a capable woman.
Yeah. So I have my contacts. So that's like the good thing that came out of that. I don't have my pictures, but I have the contacts. And then Molly picked me up. I treated myself to a coffee and some sweet green and called it a day. And I was supposed to work, but luckily Monday night I was like, I have so much homework to turn in by Wednesday. I need to not work until Thursday, Friday. So thank goodness I was not working because that would have just added to the mess.
Absolutely.
Yes. But now time for my bud. I'm finally on spring break.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
Yeah. So me and my roommates and some of our friends, we head to the beach tomorrow morning and it's just going to be so relaxing. I mean, I'm going to have a little bit of work to do, but just like change of scenery, maybe some warm weather. It's supposed to be like iffy. We're going to Orange Beach, Alabama. So I'm just so excited for that and so ready. And it's so needed. Fun. And then I come back in 1 month of school. Like, hello.
Really? That's quick.
Yeah, because we won't get back until like probably April. Oh no, that's maybe the end of March. That sounds better.
Still though, it feels really long. Like I had one of my classes, we had it's Tuesday, Thursday class. So we had learned the last bit of material Thursday, review Tuesday. Thursday we took the exam. The Tuesday this week, I don't know why we didn't really do much, but like we didn't really do anything. So by the next time I was writing in my notebook new notes, it had been like 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Crazy. Yeah, I feel like college goes so fast.
No, 3 weeks. Yeah, it'd been 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
That was pretty crazy. That we had learned new content and stuff.
That's insane. Literally summer before we know it. And that's the ultimate, bud. The ultimate.
The ultimate. And then summer goes by so fast. But I just can't wait till it's so warm.
I know. We've gotten glimpses here or there in Atlanta. And then like today, it's been storming all day and it's like chilly. And I'm like, really? You gave me a glimmer of hope. It was 80 degrees and then it was 20. And then now it's like 60.
They pull it away. They rip the rug out from underneath you so fast.
Yeah. It's depressing. Okay.
But lead us through the 10 Commandments, Alexis.
Okay. Yes. So this is the part of the Bible study that my aunt and I have been doing, the 40 days through the Bible. So we've been doing this for Lent. And this was 2 days ago. This study just like goes through all of the major events in the Bible. That's why we can, go through the Bible in 40 days because we're not doing the whole thing. But this was week 2, day 5, and it was all about the 10 Commandments. So the reading was Exodus 20. So I read in the ESV version, English Standard Version, but if anyone wants to follow along, we're just going to go straight through first. So Exodus 20 verse 1, and God spoke all these words saying, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands, and those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife or his male servant or his female servant or his ox or his donkey or anything that is your neighbor's. Now, when all the people saw the thunder and the flashes of light and the sound of the trumpet and the mountain smoking, the people were afraid and trembled. And they stood far off and said to Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen. But do not let God speak to us, lest we die." Moses said to the people, "Do not fear, for God has come to test you, that the fear of him may be before you, that you may not sin." The people stood far off, while Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said to Moses, "Thus you shall say to the people of Israel, you have seen for yourselves that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make gods of silver to be with me, nor shall you make for yourselves gods of gold. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and sacrifice on it your burnt offerings, and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I will come to you and bless you. If you make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it out of hewn stones. For if you weld your tool on it, you profane it. And you shall not go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness not be exposed on it." That is the passage for the Ten Commandments. Before I say what I have, Ains, I know that in your classes you've been studying a lot just of different books in the Bible. Have y'all touched on the Ten Commandments at all?
Well, the class I'm in right now is New Testament, so no.
So no.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I do, I mean, obviously, like, I know what they are, but I always like reading it because there's more to them, like, than the 10 you learn. You know, they have all the sentences afterwards, which is fun to listen to.
I know, because there's like a part in this where it was like, you just write down the 10 Commandments. And that's what we always did in grade school. Like, I didn't know the exact book where all of these came from. Like, they're all just like right there, written out.
And there's so much of the law in,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's all in Exodus. I feel like I definitely should know, but so many outside of just the 10 too, which there's so many. They're crazy.
I know. And one of the things that really stuck out to me when I read through this the other day was just about how when I was a kid, I always interpreted the 10 Commandments, especially as a Catholic. It's like, obviously every sin comes from the 10 Commandments in some way, and we've touched on that before, but I always remember like the mortal sins, like those are when you're really breaking the 10 Commandments. And so I always had this view of the commandments just being like so strict and like awful and just don't go near them, like this is not good. And I just had like a very negative perspective on it, and like, why would God be so like, these are all bad? Like they just like made me nervous. And I didn't see them in a good way. And so then once I was reading this, like it just really became known that the commandments aren't to control us. They're to give us, like, they're for our benefit. And there is actually freedom in them, which like sounds really bad, but like we have the commandments so that we can then have our free will. And like these are like the guidelines of, here, I'm giving you your free will. Don't do all of these things.
Yeah, there's definitely so much freedom to be found in devotion. I think that's very easy to forget because it feels like it would be like a restricted lifestyle.
Mhm.
But indeed, 'tis not.
No, I agree. And this says, so he set down these commandments to steer his children's hearts back to him. So it was out of love and
Mhm.
to bring freedom.
Yeah.
And then another thing it said was Exodus 20 verse 2 says, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. And so in that, it was when it set up all of the commandments. So it's saying like God has already done this for us and he has freed us from this. So it sets up the passage of the 10 commandments being for freedom and bringing our freedom and not as like this burden.
Yeah, 100%. I think too, something that's interesting, you mentioned like with the mortal sins, what is so striking about them is that they reject community. So that's something especially important, like with missing mass. It's not just like, oh, I don't want to go to church. Like you're rejecting the community and being a part of like the church. Lowercase c, Catholic Universal, one holy Catholic Apostolic Church. It's all about unity and community, like communion. It's the same word pretty much. So I think that's really what is so interesting too, because I feel like the last few of the 10 commandments can get kind of blurry, right? It's like, don't be jealous, essentially. Don't be jealous, don't be angry, kind of sums up a lot of them. And it's just very interesting how a lot of both in the New Testament and in the Old, community and our relationship with God as being like, obviously, yes, deeply personal, but so rooted in the social aspect and like all of the people being saved and all the people finding God. And it's not just about ourselves. I think that's really interesting to connect to. I think the 10 Commandments make that very obvious because a lot of it's about interpersonal relations. And then, of course, stuff in the beginning is about God, but even keeping the Sabbath day, like that's something you do with your church community. So,
right. No, I love that aspect of community. And it even did break down on one of these pages. It says like the first 4 commandments are vertical commandments because they directly address our relationship with God. So no worshiping false gods, don't make idols, don't take the Lord's name in vain, and keeping the Sabbath. And then the last 6 are horizontal. So like you said, they're about community and us with other people. And over the last few years, I've seen the words vertical and horizontal used in terms of faith. And I never before would have like thought to associate that. And now it makes so much sense to me. And now like I like recognize that word. And even in my business classes, like it applies the same way.
Dude, it's so handy. Vertical, that's the real power dynamic right there. It's the vertical. Yeah. I just remember using vertical and horizontal a lot in a paper I just wrote. So
really,
well, not like a lot, but a lot.
That is really funny. I know I saw those and I was like, whoa, it is the perfect word to sum up these things. But even like you said, like some of these getting blurry, I guess until I wrote all of them out, I feel like some of them blend together. And it's almost like, so my aunt and I are going to go over this week on Sunday. And like, I just want to ask her so many things, like not committing adultery and don't covet your neighbor's wife almost go hand in hand to me. And I don't see how they're different. But then when we read through it, it was like, it's not only don't like covet your neighbor's wife, but also their goods or their things. So like it goes into, like you were saying, like all those different things. Like it encompasses so much. It's like so specific yet so broad at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Too, like the language can be extended so much,
Yeah. I had a teacher tell me, I know I said it earlier that like every sin relates back to the 10 commandments, but when she told me this, in my little 8th grade mind, it terrified me. And so I thought I was going to hell automatically, because she was like, every sin relates back to the 10 commandments. And if you break one of the 10 commandments, it's a mortal sin. And I just like went into this spiral, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to hell. This is so not good. But then what I also love about this is how after it goes through the 10 commandments in Exodus 20, it then relates it into the New Testament and the fulfillment of all of these things. And to me, that is like one of the things that is so interesting in the Bible. And I don't have enough knowledge to, on my own, be able to see these connections. So one of
Oh, yeah.
Right?
People make connections all the time, like in class. And I'm like, oh, I wish
they do it.
I wish I knew. Yeah, they're a lot of people are really able to do it. I made a cool connection in Latin today, but it had nothing to do
Really?
with the Bible. I just was proud of myself for doing that. In case anyone wanted to know, I did something good.
No, like seriously, those people, I mean, it's
Mad
just like
props.
really seriously. Did they learn it in like grade school? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. People have such great biblical knowledge. It is crazy. Because too, it is all so connected. I mean, Jesus, everything about Jesus is just like the Old Testament, like fulfilling the covenant 100%, so many prophecies. And then I'm reading it and it just goes right over my head. I think I need to like pay more attention and slow down. But I need to do that in general with my whole life. So that's just
more of the
it.
story today. Let's all pay attention. I feel that. So then relating to the New Testament, it's in Hebrews 8, and the part that I really like starts on verse 8. It says, for he finds fault with them when he says, behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will establish a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not like the covenant that I made with their fathers on the day when I took them by hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. For they did not continue in my covenant, and so I showed them no concern for them, declares the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, declares the Lord. I will put my laws into their minds and write them on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall not teach each one his neighbor and each one his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest. For I will be merciful towards their iniquities, and I will remember their sins no more. So this is talking about how, like, we have the first covenant, which was all the 10 commandments, and now I love how like personal it becomes in the New Testament. And I know that that is a thing that is just about the New Testament because it's Jesus, and it makes our relationship like that boundary because Jesus became human. And so it's like taking the 10 commandments from just like being written on the tablets and like actually putting them into our lives, like on our hearts, and like us living by them. And I just think that is so beautiful, and it just like makes these connections to my life versus just like reading about these things and like don't do this, this, and this. Like, no, like it's actually a way to live and to live like a good, fruitful life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, hitting on that, Paul, I was reading Galatians yesterday, and he spoke a lot about the law and faith, and how like following the law should not be like the focus of our belief, and how Jesus like frees us from a slavery to the law, which I am needing to like read more into that, because obviously he's not saying don't follow the law, but the emphasis now is not on the law and not just about following like the right rules, which I think is something that's very easy to forget, right? Like I'm like, well, I'm just going to do the things and go through the motions and follow all the rules, but how am I actually believing and living? So,
right. Because we can live all the 10 commandments like outwardly, but if we have a jealous heart or are like holding all of these grudges and like having all this anger, like that's not how we're called to live, because it's like an inward and an outward thing.
Right. It's that total transformation.
Yeah. The one thing that really like more than anything stuck out to me because it related to a sermon I'd heard a few weeks ago, and it was talking about idols. And obviously that's one of the big 10 commandments. The second one, don't make any false idols. And I had really thought about it because in the sermon it was making it very applicable, because I know, when I hear the 10 commandments and saying that, it's like, well, of course I don't have false idols. Like, I'm not making an altar to gods that aren't, the one and only that we worship. Like, that's, that's just not who I am. Like, that would never apply to me. And so the pastor was just talking about, all the little things. And of course, people talk about like our phones and social media and all those things. Like, those are our everyday idols.
The typical scapegoat is social media and the phones. I mean, keep it classic.
It really is. But the one that I've realized in my life recently, and in and of itself, it's not a bad thing, but I have realized that an idol in my life is working out. And I say this because, I have my Bible study and I have the devotional that I'm supposed to do every day. And especially for the devotional, it's literally one page and you just read it and then you read the scripture that goes with it. And just the fact that I can find 6 days a week to work out consistently for an hour, but I can't do that. Like, I can't find those 10 minutes consistently. I've said this before, like, to do my devotion, like, that is me putting something above God, and that is making an idol out of something. And obviously working out is good and good to keep in shape. And like, now, like, through my whole like health journey, like, I work out now in a way that's healthy. But when I can do that consistently, but I can't, press into my faith consistently, like, there is an issue. And I saw something the other day from Sadie Robertson's husband, and he said that, he's had a new relationship with working out and with faith when he listens to some worship music when he works out, or when he reads scriptures in between sets. And I know that seems like extreme, but sometimes I do listen to worship music if I'm like really down in the dumps and I'm working out. And sometimes it like really does help. And obviously, like, there's Christian rap and like there's everything, but just like recognizing that idol in my life, it's been something that I've been able to pray about and really try and like reshape my focus on how I think about things.
Yeah, that's huge. I think an easy one too is not even only working out, but also work, like schoolwork or whatever work you have, because I know that's like classic Sunday scaries, and then you don't go to church because you're like, I have so much homework to do, but I'll still find time to like sleep in or grab a meal with a friend. Like, it's just about where you put in your priorities, because I'm a huge believer, like, you have time if you make time. And obviously, if you're adding more things to your schedule, something's going to give, whether that's you're going to have less time to do homework, you're going to have less time to work out, you're going to have less time to sleep. Something is going to give, but there is time. And so, everyone's like, if he wanted to, he would. I'm honestly like, I'm a big, if you wanted to, you would. Like, there is time to be had. And I think that one is super big with faith and going to mass and or like church or adoration or confession or whatever it is that you like are slacking on, or like the devotion. Like, it's really easy to put like work ahead of it, or stress, or any number of things. And it's also hard because you'll justify it, because it's not like I'm gonna be like, actually, I really need to go to this party that's at 8 a.m. on Sunday. No, it's like something like working out or sleeping in to take care of myself or doing homework. It's something that's a good thing, but it's not so good that it should come before God.
Yeah. And it's definitely something like hard to recognize and hard to admit. And I feel like the more as I got older and like into college and the busier my life got, the easier it was to make excuses. And for me, like, not to feel guilty. Like, the first time I would miss mass, or the first time like I wouldn't watch a sermon, or wouldn't watch, like, during COVID, the first time I didn't watch mass online, like, it made it easier the second time. And so like then going and like breaking that cycle is tricky. And it's not easy, but like you said, like it's priorities.
Or if you're like me and you think I'll just go to confession later because my Thursday is less free than my Sunday, which is so fake. What I haven't been doing it recently. I am getting better. I've been going to mass very diligently, but like that's also, it's not, you know what you're supposed to do. I'll bring it back. Your conscience, you feel the little weight on your heart or the little hotness in your stomach when you're doing something wrong, like and I know that I should go to church, but like I just don't want to. And that's not a valid excuse. I don't know if I told you guys this analogy, but when I was at confession and I was like, look, Mr. Priest man, I definitely think that this makes me not have to go to church on Sunday, and it's an attitude maybe I don't want to have, but I do have it. And then I was like, well, so what do I do about that? He was like, think if you had like a disease and you were to get treatment once a week, and your friend is like, actually, I'm going to skip treatment this week. You're like, well, you're going to die. Like, why would you skip the treatment? It's the same with sin and church. It's 1 hour, 1 week, like 1 hour once a week, not even bad, but you don't want to skip that treatment. No.
Ooh, I've never heard that one before. That one's good.
Yeah. So
that one is really good. Wow. Ooh, I'm gonna be thinking about that one now.
I know. Yeah, he gave me some good stuff. I was like, thank you, and I haven't really missed mass since. So apparently, I mean, obviously, it's been like 3 weeks. Okay, so I'm not really gonna like toot my horn too much, but it did make somewhat of an impact. So glad to hear it.
So good. But even like taking this into future, and after reading into the 10 Commandments, my goal for the summer is to really take to heart the Sabbath, because like you said, like Sunday scaries, like Sundays are supposed to be such a beautiful thing in our faith.
Right.
Like it's such an important day, and the fact that I get so nervous and so stressed, and sometimes we'll miss church because I'm like, I have too much to do. Like I need to prioritize on my other days, like to get things done, to make Sundays easier, and like rest and like be in community with people and like nourish my soul with like Jesus, but also friends and family and like some good food, like all the things.
Right. And rest, like take a nap, go for a long walk, watch a movie. Like it's all about time management, and we are not good time managers. I think just people in general are just not very good at it, and I'm really trying to get better at it, because I would love for my Sundays to be more relaxed. Like chef's kiss, that would be beautiful.
You know, we're gonna do it this summer when Ains and I are together. We are gonna have beautiful Sabbath days on Sunday.
Or honestly, I love going to mass on Saturday evenings, like way more than maybe Saturdays will be my rest days.
There you go. I know someone who does that actually.
I don't know if I'm really allowed to like choose when the Sabbath is, but I know that like
I know someone who
does
does it
on Saturday. So make it a whole thing, and then a family dinner afterwards. I mean, I don't really live with my family, but that's like such a nice idea.
Yeah, I love it. That's gonna be my thing this weekend, is to like think about what I want my Sabbath to look like over the summer. Okay, so good. Ains, do you have anything else for us today?
Not really. Yeah, 10 Commandments, cool stuff. Thumbs up, positive review. Thank you for leading us through this today, Lex.
Of course, you know, it wasn't really me, it was whoever wrote the book, but I need guidance just as much as everyone.
It was you for us. It was you. So
okay, well, good. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm glad I can bring like a little part of my relationship with my aunt and Jesus into the podcast.
Cute.
So, well, thank you everyone for listening. Tune in next Saturday, as always, on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the things.
All of them. Every last one.
I love it. Well, we'll see y'all in the next one.